Well, it's time to re-review, or kind of first time review, a sort of rebooted or reworked kind of beer. And what beer is that going to be today? And from whom are we acquiring this beer? Well, it's a beer from Sixpoint Brewery out of Brooklyn, New York, US of A. Yay, yay. And it's there. 4 Beans. That's right. Before it used to be called 3 Beans. Now it's 4 Beans in 2015. So since 2013, they picked up an extra bean. That's right. It's still a Baltic Porter. It's still a randomly produced serving like it was before. It still clocks in at 10% ABV, but now it's 45 IBUs instead of 85 IBUs. Now, the malt bill on this is still pretty much the same. It's wheat, barley, and Romano beans. They're still using cacao nibs. Bean number 2, they're still using coffee. Bean number 3, and last but not least, bean number 4 is now Madagascar vanilla beans. The other thing that they changed up is how they add the coffee flavor to this. After they ferment the wort, they put the coffee into said wort and make basically cold brewed coffee wort. That's pretty awesome. Then they add the vanilla beans as an adjunct to round all those flavors off. Now, 3 Beans, Johnny the Stunt Drinker and I really liked in 2013 when I reviewed this beer. And we both gave it an A. On this video, on a card or in a link, whatever one I feel like doing, depends upon how lazy I am, I will put a link probably in a card, because it's kind of like the modern thing and it works better. But I'll put a card in here for the 2013 review if you care to watch that one. So, you know what? I'm ready to kick back. I've had a long day, did 2 workouts, cooked dinner, all that old shit. It's time for me to get my reward beer. So let's see if 4 Beans is going to be rewarding, and that 4th bean, how much of a difference it makes. Let's crack it. Boom. Get into our little kind of snifter here. Now this is a Baltic Porter, like I said, so, you know, a lot of people I've seen that have reviewed this, you know, on the internet have been saying, oh, the body's a little thinner or whatever. Well, guess what, guys? It's a porter. It's not a stout. You know, a lot of folks, when they see this beer that's basically black, where that has no light penetrating through it, no color at all, fully opaque, yeah, it's freaking night. They're saying, oh, that must be a stout, but it's not. It's got a solid 1-finger head here of super tightly packed, you know, coffee-colored bubbles. When I swirl it, yeah, we may get some glass lacing, maybe not, but there's tons of alcohol lake streaming down on the inside of this. Now, remember, 3 Beans, the alcohol was really well hidden, and it did have a nice mouthfeel because of the addition of the Romano beans into the recipe. And there was also a cool, like, lager yeast taste in there and some dark fruit. So let's see if that still holds up. But before we get to the taste, we got to see what the aroma's like. Diving in. Right up front, dark, deep, rich, dark roasted coffee, dark chocolate, really mild vanilla aroma in the background. No alcohol smell at all. A little bit of caramel, burnt brown sugar sort of sweetness. But it's really all about the coffee. This is a very coffee-forward beer. 3 Beans was really coffee-forward. But it smells real tasty. I'm ready to dive in. Not a super complex nose, a few layers in there. But you know what? It is what it is. Time to dive in. Cheers! Nice. It still has a decent mouthfeel for a Baltic Porter. It's quite coating on the inside. I suspect that comes from the Romano beans. It's got a zippier carbonation than I remember with 3 Beans. It's more zippy than the, you know, just the 1-finger head that form would suggest. We did get some nice glass lacing from this now that I drank it down. That's a kind of a characteristic of Sixpoint beers. They brew some nice precise beers. Flavor-wise, up front and present is dark coffee. After that I'm getting dark chocolate, a bit of caramel, that burnt brown sugar, and the slightest hint of vanilla in there. There's no taste of alcohol. I do get a little bit of warming in the chest from the alcohol, but it's nothing crazy. I mean, it's a 10% beer. You expect that at times, but it's got at least a ring of bubbles and some decent head retention, and when you swirl it, you get some nice regeneration with that out of a 10% beer. That's impressive. But all in all, it has nice, well-rounded flavors, and it's basically representing what it says it's going to be. It says I'm going to be a Baltic Porter. I'm going to have, you know, roasted malt flavor, coffee, because I've got coffee as an adjunct, and vanilla. And they actually say on their website that I read or somewhere that the vanilla is meant to be a nuance instead of like a vanilla bomb sort of flavor, and it is that. But as you drink it, that vanilla flavor does build up. And they said their point was to use that vanilla to tie the chocolate from the cacao nibs and the coffee together, and I think it does, succeed in doing that. Nice and smooth, super easy to drink, actually dangerously easy to drink for a 10% beer, because actually now that I drink a little bit more of it, that warming that was in the chest is gone. That happens sometimes too, but you know what? I'm liking this beer. I really like Three Beans. I like the story of Three Beans back then, because Three Beans came out when Hurricane Sandy basically Donkey Konged the East Coast, and it basically pretty much destroyed their brewery at Sixpoint, and also almost got rid of this particular beer, Three Beans, because it was in the experimental stage at that time. Go figure. Maybe this is like a Lazarus beer. Anyway, I'm flapping my gums and digressing, but you ain't surprised. You're saying, DJ, get to grading this biatch. Well, you already know, in 2013, I gave it an A. Now, Beer Advocate's giving 4 Beans a 94, which is an A. Rate Beer does not have a grade for it yet. However, they gave 3 Beans a 97, whereas Beer Advocate gave 3 Beans a 91. I'm going to give this beer a 95. I think it's an A-level beer for what it is. As Baltic Porters go, I'm drinking this real fresh, so the coffee and the chocolate from the cacao nibs and the vanilla is real present. They're giving this a date, or a Best Buy date, of July of 2016, so a whole year. I don't know if that coffee will hold up in the can for a whole year. It would be cool to see, but the amount of beers that I have to drink and review right now, I probably won't get another can of this. But maybe somebody will and say whether those flavors hold up. I suspect the vanilla will die first. That's what seems to happen a lot in vanilla-forward beers. But really tasty. As it is now fresh, I'm enjoying it. I'm going to give it an A. It's not a super big mind blower with big complexity, but for a Baltic Porter with mega well-hidden alcohol and as advertised on the can and their website flavors, it's a good beer. So, have you had this beer? I haven't seen a lot of reviews of it. Maybe you have had it. It's kind of a popular beer, I think. Well, at least it was when Three Beans was around. If you have, let me know what you know, because I don't know everything, and I like to quid pro quo and the back and forth, whatever the hell you want to call it. I also like it a lot when you think locally, drink locally, and support the craft beer movement, because that's helped things like 4 Beans, that was 3 Beans, come into existence and keep our palates happy. And maybe there'll be a 5th bean. God knows what it'll be. Maybe it'll be pinto beans in it. Who knows? Whatever. We'll drink it and try it and say whether we like 5 beans more than the 4 and 3 beans. Who knows? So, to the next DJs BrewTube, thanks to each and every one of you watching. Please remember to rate, comment, subscribe, and smash that like button, because that, along with copious amounts of 4 Beans, puts my happy face on. So, till then, I got nothing but a bunch of Sixpoint Brewery 4 Beans drinking love for you. And you know what's coming? That's right. Are you guys ready for it? Oh, yeah. A big beaker!